Well, hello, welcome to another episode of Jim's Allotment Garden. One plant that's done amazingly well this year are the buddleias. Now this one here, believe it or not, is probably about 10 foot, 11 foot high, and it's been absolutely covered in bees, as you can see one here, and butterflies all day. But this has grown immensely this year, a lot more than it ever has before, but the one across the allotment is causing a bit of a problem. Okay, so as you can see, this one here, it's starting to push the fence over. And it's just completely engulfing this part of the allotment, and it's basically, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's basically pushing the fence in a number of places, and I'm worried that the fence is going to completely collapse if I don't do something about it. Now it is a real shame because the butterflies again have been all over this as well today, but there's all of those in the garden, so it's not as though there aren't many other buddleias in the area. So what I'm going to do is cut all this down now and shred it up, because as I say, you can see when I'm basically in the greenhouse door now, and I'm struggling to get around the allotment because it's all kind of coming over. So I'm going to chop all this back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so there you can see I've cut all the buddleia back. Obviously I've left as much on as I could at the top, but you can see here how the fence is being sort of pushed out here by this branch here, and I can't really get at it without actually going into my next door neighbour, but all I can do is just basically brace it up there and try and push it in, and then I'll have a chat with him when I see him. But and all the comfrey that was there, obviously I've chopped all that down. That's now in the comfrey juice maker here, so I'll just put the slate back onto it. So that'll now be making some more juice. As you can see, we're making quite a bit at the moment, but I'm using about a bottle and a half of that a week at the moment in the greenhouse, because I'm feeding the plants pretty much every other day with about 10% comfrey juice. I'm adding no water. All I do is just basically put it in there and then let it rot down. You can see it dripping out at the bottom there, so as soon as the bottle's filled, I might just put the top on it, put it there, then I can use that in order. I'm still using stuff that I made last year, to be honest with you, but anyway, so this corner's looking a bit better now. It's looking slightly less overgrown, but that's what the side by the greenhouse looks like now. Okay, so I'm going to pop the peppers up. I know I'm late. This is one that I've had growing in the other greenhouse, as you can see. I'll just turn that around. You can see I've got sort of little flowers forming here, so I've got some chance of getting some peppers, I think. Now I'm basically going to pot these up into sort of these sort of size pots, which are kind of, I don't know, about 6-7 inch pots, and I'm just going to pot them up now just to show you what they look like. All the ones I grew from seed are now looking like this. So what I've done is I've waited for them to start to flower, and so I'll know that I've got a reasonable chance of getting some fruit off them. So you can see there's some buds here as well. So all I'm going to do basically is fill these pots with compost. I'm using the clover compost as usual. And just to show you what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of partly fill like that. Let me just readjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just making a hole in the middle of the pot like that, which will be the same size as this. I don't want to disturb the roots too much. Now I've left them in these pots purely to make them slightly pot bound, and then what that'll actually do is it'll force them to sort of start to flower. So what I've actually done is kind of by not potting these up, as early as I would do normally. What it's actually done is kind of forced them into producing some flowers, which is basically what I was trying to do, trying to get some fruit off them this year. Now I've had various comments on the channel about you know, am I expecting any peppers this year, because I know I'm sort of really late in doing this now. I am late. I'm at least a month or so late in sort of growing these, which was my own fault really. But so you can see there's another one. You can see the flowers just here and here. And again, this is going to be a similar, you know, it's not pot bound as such, but it's getting quite busy in there with the roots. Now what this should do, now I'm sort of potting up into larger pots, obviously it's going to give them a boost of sort of feed at the bottom, at the roots, and that should bring them on that bit more. And I'll be giving them lots of comfrey tea as well to try and sort of bring them on a bit. And all I can do then is just keep my fingers crossed with the weather and hope that I get some peppers this year. Now, as I say, I don't have any area in my house, I haven't got a conservatory or anything where I can keep these over winter and sort of grow them on. I know some of you put some comments on saying that you deliberately planted them late so you get some sort of early sort of fruits next year, sort of February time or whatever. But I don't have that luxury, so basically I'm hoping that these will sort of come to fruition this year, probably the back end of this year. But I know peppers do need a long growing season. I know they're a lot longer than tomatoes, for example, where you need to give them lots and lots of time to grow the plant and then actually get some fruit off them. Now these ones that I'm actually potting up now, these are I think they're the large sort of sweet pepper. They're actually called, I think, Rainbow, if I remember correctly. I've not found the name tag yet. And I've got some other. There's some that I did that were called Rainbow, and there's another one called Spectrum, which is they're all sort of sweet peppered. Now these ones that I've got here, and I'll just show you in a second. Just pop this one up. Right, these ones that I've got here, and I've actually got 4 of these that are this kind of size. Don't know if you can see, but it's about 3 foot high. No, sorry, 2 foot high. I'm lying. There you go. Now these are a hot pepper. They're the bell pepper. I can't remember the variety to honestly. I've lost the tag that went in them. But I actually bought these plants ready grown. They were only about sort of just 3 or 4 inches high when I bought them. But obviously they've grown to this, and I'm hoping these will sort of soon catch up with them, and I'll see if I can get some peppers this year. But that's basically the situation with the peppers. So I'll carry on potting these up. I'm going to keep these in this greenhouse on the back here. So I'm going to pot them all up, and then basically keep my fingers crossed and see if I can get some peppers this year. Okay, so there are the peppers all potted up. Now these are the I think there's a couple of Spectrum there, and there's some jalapeno ones there. Now they're not anywhere close to being potted up, but if they do grow and get to kind of this size in the next couple of weeks, I will pot them up, because I still think I've got a chance of getting some peppers. But that's basically the ones that I potted up today. A couple of them are a bit mothy, and it looks like some sort of goat, there's a slug or something. And funny enough, in the same greenhouse, these are the 3rd batch of broccoli. It looks like something's had a go at these, but I can't find any evidence of any caterpillars or anything, so I'm not quite sure what's done it. You can see this one at the back here. That leaf there is pretty much eaten away, but I can't find any evidence at all of any caterpillars or anything like that anywhere close. So not quite sure what's done that, but these will be going out as soon as it stops raining, basically. Again today we've had another big downpour, but these will be going out. I can't put these outside to harden off, because obviously there's loads and loads of cabbage white butterflies about, which possibly could have made these, but I would see the caterpillars on there, and I'm not seeing any caterpillars or anything, so I'm not quite sure what's done it. But anyway, as I say, these are a bit moth eaten, but they will recover from that. And these hollyhocks, these are just about ready to go out now, so I'll put them outside to harden off for the rest of the year. but because we've had such a big massive downpour of rain again, we've probably had about another 4 or 5 inches today. I'm a bit reluctant to put them out because it's just going to get completely swamped. But anyway, that's what the peppers look like, and hopefully they'll get to kind of this stage in the next few weeks. And then, you know, I'll start to get some peppers. You can see one just starting to form there. But hopefully in a couple of weeks' time these will be at that kind of stage, because we've already got flowers, and hopefully we'll start to get a few fruits. So I know I said in the last tour video that the cucumbers weren't growing very quickly, and this week they've just absolutely shot up. They were basically here a week ago, so they've grown about 14 inches in the last week, and this one was literally here, so that's grown about 2 foot. I'm having to start to sort of pull this around a little bit now and get it to grow along the top, but we've still got plenty of cucumbers on. We have picked some already, and there's one there almost ready. There's another one here. Just at the back of the basil there, as you can see. Yeah, it's just a quick note on the cucumbers, and there's plenty more coming. There's one here, one here. They're all the way up really. There's lots of little ones forming on here. So we are doing really well for the cucumbers this year. I just want to quickly show you this, how many butterflies we've got on the buddleias. You can see there's quite a few on there, but they're just flying all over. I don't know if you can see them up in the air. But this year, I know I said earlier on that we had almost no butterflies and bees flying about. Well, they've really made up for it in the last couple of days. We seem to have absolutely hundreds, from raw admirals like this one here, and here, cabbage white bees. We've got all sorts all over, but you can just see how many there are, and they're all feeding on the buddleias. But it has been a beautiful sight to see so many butterflies, when I was worried that we wouldn't see many this year. But lots of butterflies. Okay, so the broccoli's got to kind of this big now. You've probably seen it in a previous clip. But I'm now going to put this out and I'll show you what it looks like when I've got it done. Okay, so I've put the broccoli in the ground now. As you can see, this is this is like the third batch. All of these here. There's about, I think there's 27 plants there. That was all of those there going up to the back there. They're all second batch. Obviously the third batch has all been harvested now. Sorry, the first batch is all harvested now, so that's basically the second batch there. And these should be starting to form heads probably in about 2 weeks' time, and then hopefully these will be forming the florets in about maybe 4 to 6 weeks' time. Obviously, as the season goes on, things tend to slow down a bit, so these could be a little bit later. But I'm expecting to harvest these probably in sort of September time. So that's the first sort of 27 plants in there. Dorothy, come here. And then the rest of them have gone down to the second tunnel. I'll put them in the back of there, and what I need to do is sew the net up a bit, because I've got I need to sew this line up at the top here and at the far end there. But as you can see there, the final ones. Now, I explained in an earlier clip that these have been sort of nobbled a bit. I think it's slugs, because I've found a couple of slugs as I've been pulling them out. I found a couple of slugs in there, so I think that's probably what's caused the damage to the plant. I can't find any caterpillars on them or anything like that, but that's basically what they look like. I've put some slug pellets down, hopefully that'll clear them all up. I couldn't find any slugs on the plant. I inspected each one as I put them in, but that's the third and the last batch of broccoli that'll go in this year. So sometime in the near future I'll get up here with a needle and cotton, sew all these bits up to stop the butterflies coming in. But for now, that's what the broccoli looks like. So, I hope this episode was of some use to you. Please don't hesitate to put any comments or questions you got below, and I'll always get back to you. And I'll see you on the next episode of Jim's Little Garden.